but it feels good. These are Bobby Shaps, by the way. Kiva Hoy gave them to us. Said you take these, not the ones he wore on the show, but the ones he wore in a lot of shows. He didn't wear these on Chaparral.
Yeah. Sorry.
Poor thing.
I love Bobby, and I love you too. And that means both Butler brothers are here on the stage with us.
You know, when I got this call, old Bill Mayberry called me on the phone at home and said, Don, he said, listen, we got a show down here at Paramount, NBC is doing. It's called High Chaparral. And he said, Kent McRae is part of our team, and he suggested you for the ranch foreman. He said, you want the job? I said, does a cat have an ass? And I went down to Paramount. He said, be down here tomorrow. And I went down there the next day, and they're all there. Life, Linda, Cam, Mark Slade, Henry Darrow, everybody but Rudy. One of my favorite people, Rudy. I hope he's here tonight. And he comes in the last year of the show. But anyway, they're all there, and we're there with Bill Claxton. He introduces everybody, tells us what the show is going to be about, and he says, any questions? I almost said, when's payday? But he says, all right, we'll all go over to Western Costume and we'll get our wardrobe. Just across the street from Paramount. We walked over there, and each actor had his own wardrobe guy, own room there, and we started getting dressed, put on the pants, put on the pink undershirt, put on a good pair of boots. I kept looking over the corner, a nice leather shirt over there, this leather shirt right here. And I kept looking at it, and old Alex kept bringing in some other shirts and trying them on. And I said, Alex, how about that leather shirt over there? You know, he says, you don't want that. You don't want to wear that. I said, oh, okay. He brought in another shirt, and I couldn't take my eyes off the damn thing. I said, let me try that on. I said, let me try the shirt on. So he brought it over, put it on. Man, I look in that mirror, you know. You look in there, you go, whoa, boy. Now that's a cowboy. You know? Yeah. Oh, you turn all around, look at yourself. You know, you're licking your chops thinking, oh, Lord God, you look good.
And
well,
then,
he looked good.
And then you went to Tucson.
Then we went down to Tucson in June. The sun doesn't go down until 9 o'clock. You can shoot for 14, 15 hours. Get your overtime, but man, you earn it. And one of the first shows we did, I'm horseback, and I have to ride down the gully, and man, it's hot. It's about 108 around there. And I started to get those old sweat stains on the armpits and down the sides and everything. Boy, they were real. Rode down that gully, it's about 120 down there, and I'm roasting. And I talked to old Bill Claxton. I says, I don't think I can stand it. He says, pal, you're married to that now. We've done one show with it. You got to wear that from now on. So I did. I wore it from then on.
And all those sweat stains were real. That's a question you get a lot about those sweat stains.
No, they were real. Absolutely real, yeah. A few people said, oh, those are phony. They weren't phony. They were real. Boy, it sweated my tail off in that thing.
Now, you just mentioned Bill Claxton.
Billy Claxton, boy, he was one of the finest gentlemen. He produced the show for, I think, the first 2 years and directed almost all the shows. He was a small man with just a huge heart and a good director, and we'd do anything he'd want, anything he asked for, we'd do it. I mean, except die. We'd do anything, any horseback stuff he wanted, and we'd work Sundays without pay. Me and Bobby did. The other guys, they wouldn't do it. In fact, Kent McRae says, I've got an opportunity to photograph a cattle drive, and I'd like to get some of you guys up there. we take pictures and we can insert it into our show. You know, it's our own cowboys on a real cattle drive. Nobody volunteered except me and Bobby because they wouldn't. He said, I ain't got enough money to pay you. But he said the magic words. He says, I've got 2 tubs full of ice, and in those tubs, I'm going to have about 8 cases of beer. So Bobby says, I'll go. And I said, me too. We both went. We got some nice footage, and they used it in some of the shows, and we were out there, man, we were, hey, cattle, you know, we doing all that stuff. Look good. We look good, you know, look like real cowboys.
Now, I think you told me that you and Bobby had tricks to be sure that you got in scenes on camera.
We did what now?
You had tricks to be sure that you got on scene on camera.
We had tricks?
Yeah, you would lean into the scene and...
Yes, we did. And well, I'll tell you, Billy Claxton, he was a wonderful guy, and he loved gags as much as the next guy. And you try to watch out for him, but you've got so much respect for Bill, you don't want to cross him up. And we got a shot. There's one scene he's setting up, and it calls for me to dismount and walk off in the desert like that. And I'm thinking, that son of a bitch wants to get me and make me walk for 8 miles. But I'm not going to say, Billy. He said, Don, I ain't kidding you. I need this shot. It's a very important piece of this particular play. What do I do? He said, I want you to get off the horse. I want you to walk out there and walk like you're really concentrating, like you're kind of sad. Go slow. And I'm thinking, oh, okay, Bill. So I did that. He says, action. I get off the horse, did me a little look for the camera, you know, one of the sad looks. Turned around, I started walking. And I'm walking, and I'm not hearing cut. And I'm walking, and I'm thinking, son of a bitch, he got me. I know he's got me. I walk a little farther, but I don't want to, you know, I don't want to tread on old Bill's shoes. And I walked a little bit farther, and I said, to hell with it, I'm going to look. I turned around and looked. Wasn't a soul, wasn't a wagon, wasn't a car, they'd moved the whole damn company a mile away, left me out there to rot. A good gag, it was a good gag, I just couldn't, you know, turn him down.
So the Bunkhouse Boys were an important part of High Chaparral, and they added a lot to the overall show. And I think that you got up to some antics off camera as well as on.
I'm not quite sure which one you're talking about.
Well, you were in the Rose Bowl parade.
Oh, yeah, that one. Oh, yeah. Well, I got a little age kind of on me. I have to be reminded once in a while about these gags.
That's why I'm out here.
They asked us one year to ride in the Rose Bowl parade, the whole company, the whole Chaparral company. And I think it was 1970. And what they're going to do is put Life and Linda on a float, and the rest of the people, whoever wanted to ride horseback, and ride a horseback in the parade. So me and Bobby and Roberto, I think Henry, and Cam, I believe, was horseback. We're going to ride horseback. Now, what they do, they'll send a limo to get you in the morning. About 3 in the morning, because that parade starts early. The limo gets there at your house, and you go out, you get in the limo, and the guy takes off. He says, listen, he says, there's peach brandy back there. Keep you warm, because it's kind of cold. So help yourself. And, of course, you go, yeah. You uncork that bugger, and you work on it till you get to Pasadena. By the time you get to Pasadena, that jug's gone. But they hand you another one as soon as you get out of the limo. This will keep you warm, you know. So about 4 o'clock, you start on your second one. You help the wranglers get the horses ready. They're drinking too. Everybody's drinking peach brandy. Bobby, the whole works is drinking peach brandy. So by 6 o'clock, when we're ready to ride, man, we are ready. So we all mount up. Here we go. Float takes off. Lyndon and Life are up there on the float. We're riding along, and we've been going slow. And we're riding along, and I looked at Bobby, And I can tell by the look on his face, man, he needs one. He looks at me and he can tell that I need one. I look at Roberto, he is desperate. And so we see a sign up ahead about maybe a block and a half, B-A-R, bar up there. I looked at Bobby, and Bobby goes, and I go, and away we go, we take off. Roberto comes with us. And we gallop up to this bar, people start to cheer. They're rooting us on. Yay, baby, yeah, get going, guys. Yeah, her, look at those, yeah. You know, we ride up there, we bring him to a stop, jump off, we grab a guy out of the crowd and say, hold these horses. And he's holding these horses. We ran in and said, give us 3 shots apiece. Bam, bam, bam. We boom, bing, bam. Shoot them down like that, run back out. Now our float's about a block ahead of us. So we jump on, and here we go. We kick those horses up, and boy, the crowd is cheering and hollering. Wee, yeah, go get him. We catch up with them.
It was the Bunkhouse Boys to the rescue.
Huh?
Bunkhouse Boys to the rescue.
Bunkhouse Boys to the rescue. Save the parade. The parades are okay, but I mean, God, they drive you crazy with the flowers and little floats and all We get to the end of the parade, and man, did they raise hell with us. God almighty, you've never, you ain't riding this bad. Okay, fine, we But that was our Rose Bowl parade days. It was fun. Thank you. Yeah. Boy.
Now, you have a story about you and Bobby and David Dortort.
Oh,
and that involves a bar, too, surprisingly.
That's right. This happened on a Saturday night in Tucson. I'll take my hat off for this. This was Saturday night in Tucson. Now, Bobby was a pretty good boozer. So was I. And, it was hot. You get those hot days down there. And in the prop truck, they always had 2 big tubs of beer iced down. So when you knocked off at the end of the day, you go grab about 3 beers, and that'd get you into town. So you get those 3 beers, and by the time you get to town, you're ready for a decent drink. That beer just primes the pump. So we get into town, and Saturday night, so Bobby and I go out in the town, have a nice dinner, go to a nightclub. Who knows what might happen? So he goes and gets dressed, I get dressed, and we meet down the bar at the old desert sands. It's gone now, but anyway, we meet in the bar about 7:30. We got our slacks, sports coat on. Looked like $1 million. Order a gin and tonic or some drink like that. And we're drinking up, and what are we going to do tonight? Well, I don't know. Let's go out to Cork and Cleaver. We get us a steak, artichoke, and about 3 Navy grogs. Well, the Navy grogs were good. I know guys like Phil's had a bunch of those. There's a few more old drunks in the crowd. I get some nice spot. So we're sitting there drinking in the bar, and we're about ready for that second drink, and in walks David Dortort, the guy that owns the show. Walks up to our table, and he says, hi, boys. I said, oh, hi, Mr. Dortort. He says, can I sit down and have a drink with you boys? We sure, sit down. He sits down, and the waitress comes up. What do you have, Mr. Dortort? Well, I'll have a scotch and water. Mr. Hoy? And Bobby says, oh, I better have another orange juice. What the hell? I said, she says, how about you, sir? And I said, I better have an orange juice also. She brings David's drink. She brings Bobby. She brings mine. And boy, he shoots that down. And he says, oh, Lord, he says, it's about 10 minutes after 8. He says, I'm kind of sleepy. I got some dialogue to run tonight. He said, Don, I'll see you. And he gets up and leaves. He goes down the hall. One hall goes this way and one goes this way. But I can see right through his shallow scheme because I got one of my own. So I shoot my orange juice down. I said, Mr. Dortort, I'll see you. I've got some dialogue to run, and I'm going to get some early rest tonight. So I said, good night, sir. See you later. So I walk down the other hall, down like this. I get way down here, and those rooms are set back in off the hall. So you can kind of jump back in there, and nobody can see you. So I jump, I don't want to fall off this stage. So I jump back in there, and I'm back in there like this. Can you see me? I'm back in here like this, and I go like this. And I peek out, and way down the hall, I see this. And Bobby is down there at the other end of the hall. He's waiting for me. And he goes, and I look, see if David's there. And David had got up and left, and I go, and here comes old Bobby. Right back in the bar, like this. Oh boy, the night's on. David's gone. And I sit down, and man, we started out, we had us a ball that night. Got rid of that